Shalom Aleichem to all my Shnayim Mikra friends. Thank you so much for having me back again. The tremendous zechut to share some divrei Torah with you guys. So, Parashat Tisa. In this week's parasha, it takes a break from describing all the details and the construction of the Mishkan, and it starts off with very interesting laws of taking a national census of Bnei Israel. So let's focus on the second pasuk. Right? The first pasuk is Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, and then the second pasuk says Ki Tisa et Rosh Bnei Israel lifkudehem. When you take a census of Bnei Israel according to their count. So seemingly the word sounds like it's optional, right? The word Ki Tisa, when you count. However, if you check out the Ramban, he says that since later on in Pasuk Tet Zayin, it talks about allocating all this silver that they collect for this census, for the Mishkan, for the Ohel Moed. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu knew that this count had to be done. So the question is, why did Hashem tell Moshe Rabbeinu to count Bnei Israel? What happened all of a sudden that we need to count Bnei Israel? So we all know the famous teaching of Chazal, that En Mukdam Umeuhar B'Torah, meaning there's no chronological order to the Torah. Things are out of order sometimes. So maybe perhaps we'll talk about this in another video in this parasha. But according to many Rishonim, the way they learn this parasha, actually it's even the Midrash Tanhuma, it learns that the commandment to count this national census was done after the het, the sin of the Egel HaZahav. So accordingly, the Or HaChaim, he beautifully explains that the phrase Ki Tisa, what does it mean? It means Nisiut Rosh, Ki Tisa, when you lift the heads. Meaning Moshe Rabbeinu, he needed to raise the spiritual status of Bnei Israel. Right after this terrible incident of the golden calf, Am Yisrael was down. And in order to lift them, he began by taking a census, which is really what Hashem commanded him to do. So the Or HaChaim explains that national counting can't be done for any reason. Rather, only in certain times when the Jewish people need their morale to be boosted is it allowed. Okay, so let's focus on the second part of the pasuk. It says, "V'natenu ish kofer nafsho ladonai bifkodotam v'lo yeh bahem negef bifkodotam." It says that each person should give a ransom for himself, right? This hetzi shekel, so that there won't be any plague that comes in as a result of counting Bnei Israel. So the counting can cause something negative, and by giving this kofir, this hetzi shekel, they're going to be able to counteract the negative results of counting. So we have to understand, why should there be a plague due to counting Bnei Israel? The Torah doesn't mention why it causes a plague. The Torah seems very silent. It sounds like it's davar pashut. Everybody knows that counting causes a plague. We actually see that the plague happened before with David HaMelech when he commanded Yoav to count the Jewish people. And since he didn't collect the hetzi shekel also, there was a terrible plague. So Rashi, if you look at the Rashi on the Pasuk, he says that counting creates this ayin hara, this evil eye, or however you want to translate it, which would cause a plague to befall Bnei Israel. So the counting causes this ayin hara. So therefore, to counteract this, by giving a ransom, this hetzi shekel, it removes the plague which would have befallen due to the ayin hara. However, check out this Malbim. The Malbim is beautiful. He says, as long as the people are united, Am Yisrael, they're all one unit, they're like one person, therefore the collective merit is great of Am Yisrael. However, but when they're counted individually, each person, is set aside by himself, therefore their actions are examined. And due to this, a plague can actually come and overtake Bnei Israel because of each individual's own zavira, his own avirot. So to fix this, to counteract this, Hashem commands that each of them should give a hetzi shekel. So therefore, that demonstrates, this giving of the hetzi shekel demonstrates that they're all bound together. We're one unit. So in essence, the half shekel, it rebinds us. It creates a ahdut, which makes us unstoppable. Hazaku Baruch. Thank you.